from Rixie. This is Debuff, and I'm your host, Steve Skeels. Today I'll be talking about Ninjala, Bloodstained DLC, and the controversy around the Doom Eternal soundtrack. First up, Ninjala from Gung Ho Online Entertainment. This is a free-to-play multiplayer game that immediately gives off Splatoon vibes, except it's focused on melee combat. Referring to Splatoon, Graham Russell at Silicon Era said that the game is, quote, trying to appeal to the fans of its larger cousin without replacing it, end quote. And I think that's a really good sign. I know many people that love Splatoon, and I think we could do with more games like it that appeal to a wider audience than many other PvP-focused games. Originally slated to release on May 27th, the game has been delayed to June 24th. An open beta was held on April 28th and 29th, and this was the first chance for most people to test the game out. That's right, an open beta was the first true stress test they did on their servers, and apparently it did not go well. With 3 different 1-hour windows for everyone to play, everyone was trying to get into games at the same time, resulting in almost no one getting in. Gung Ho did extend the time due to the server issues, but from what I understand, that did not help as the issues were never resolved during the stress tests. I personally did not get a chance to play, but the majority of people online had said that they only managed to get into a few matches after hours of trying. That's a bit of a disappointing first impression, but something like that can be fixed since it's not inherent to the game itself. The game itself actually seems pretty fun. Combat revolves around melee weapons ranging from things like swords and hammers to some more unique choices such as drills and yo-yos. Players string together combos and can use their special abilities that are standard for these types of games. There are also some ranged attacks, but those are more supplemental than the melee combat. Apparently it can get pretty complicated with many buttons to press to trigger specific actions, but it all seems really interesting. Character customization also seems very Splatoon as well, with tons of cosmetics to design your avatar, as well as cards you can equip to boost your stats. Overall impressions of those who played seemed positive, even if they only got to play a few matches. There's only a couple comments I saw that said that the combat seemed pretty luck-based, but I think that's just from early impressions. I think this game looks really cool, and anyone that's a fan of Splatoon or melee-focused PvP should give it a shot when it releases next month. Next up, we've got the DLC for Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. Bloodstained was a game backed on Kickstarter and put together by Koji Igarashi, the man behind the best Castlevania games. First released in June 2019, this game was received positively and currently sits at an 83 on Metacritic, though the Switch version is a bit lower at 74 due to performance issues. Personally, I think it is a great game that definitely captures some of the magic of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Previously, I did mention that the game had some launch issues, and even more recently, backers were disappointed when the $5 million stretch goal was changed. On March 2nd, 2020, it was announced that the promised roguelike mode would be replaced with a randomizer mode. Apparently, it was just not possible to implement a roguelike mode with the code that they had developed. This is quite unfortunate, as it sounds like it's just inherent to the game itself, and they would not be able to do this. So they went ahead and created a different mode that doesn't quite give the same feel as a roguelike. Additionally, there was a long-awaited second playable character, Zangetsu, that had been taking quite some time to come out. Well, on May 7th, they released both the randomizer mode and the Zangetsu mode as a free update. Originally, Zangetsu was supposed to be free for backers only, so it's pretty cool that they put it out for everybody. The Zangetsu mode works much like the Richter mode from Symphony of the Night, where there isn't really a story or new items to find for Zangetsu. You get his moveset, and you just play through the castle. It worked well for Symphony of the Night, and I think it works well for this game. It adds a nice spin to the exploration and combat that you can't quite get with the base mode. As for the randomizer, despite delays and backlash for pivoting, it might even be better for some people. You can set the goal you want to go for, such as what boss to defeat, and then randomize items, enemies, save rooms, and more for a really unique experience. This seems like a really great update for anyone who has already played the game, or for those that have been waiting to pick it up. With these 2 modes added, you have to be able to at least double the amount of playtime you could already get from the game. Our last story for today is the controversy surrounding the Doom Eternal soundtrack. On April 18th, Twitter user That AC/DC Guy posted a visual side-by-side comparison of the track BFG Division from Doom 2016 and the version from Doom Eternal. Just from looking at them, you can tell that they are a far cry apart in terms of quality, with Doom 2016 version showing a greater dynamic range and the Doom Eternal version appearing to be almost flat across the whole song. The composer for both games, Mick Gordon, responded saying that he did not mix all the Eternal tracks, BFG Division included, and he would not have done that to them had he been able to mix the entire soundtrack himself. Other than that, Mick has been pretty silent on this, presumably to take the high road and stay out of the controversy that's been brewing in the community. On May 4th, the Doom Eternal's executive producer Marty Stratton posted a very long open letter on the Doom subreddit, addressing what happened with the OST. It opens with Stratton defending id Software and their lead audio designer, Chad Mossholder, refuting the accusations that Gordon was not given enough time and that id Software was disrespectful to the game by using these versions of the songs. Additionally, he seemed surprised that Gordon stated on social media he does not think he'll be working with id Software again. And then Stratton gets into their side of what exactly happened. Long story short, at the end of February, Mick Gordon had requested an extension on their deadline. Then, as the new deadline of mid-April drew near, id Software had Chad Mossholder work on versions of the songs as a backup plan. Stratton then states that, since they were running out of time, it was Mick Gordon who suggested that they combine his and Mossholder's work to complete the OST. It seems strange that something like this would break the relationship between the two, so it's possible there's more going on here. Even if Gordon was the one who actually suggested it, it's possible he felt pressured into it and decided to give up and told id to go ahead and use Mossholder's versions of the songs. Unfortunately, that's just speculation, and we may never know the finer details of this event. However, it's really rough, because the soundtrack is one of my favorite parts of the rebooted Doom games, and I don't know that anyone else will be able to put together something as perfect as Mick Gordon has done for the series. Only time will tell, as it's already been stated that id Software will not be working with Mick Gordon on the soundtrack for the DLC. We'll know soon enough whether they can find someone who may be able to replace him. Debuff is hosted by me, Steve Skeels, edited and mixed by Mason Carlton. Follow us on Instagram at DebuffPod. That's Debuff, P-O-D. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.